folks, Mark here. Wow, how do I explain this one? I've recently kind of returned to the martial arts world and looked at it, and I've seen, much to my surprise, that a lot of the things that were going on back then are still going on now, but a lot of that is based on what people don't know but think they know, and then they insist on turning it into. So let's call this a fundamental, and it's thinking about what you do and what you don't do. And for example, I didn't know that people were still arguing over closed hand fist or open hand. Okay? Because, oh man, there are all these people say you do this, you don't do this, you don't do that. And I was kind of reminded, because what I've been doing for the last year is I've been focusing on writing and writing fiction, and the writing world, the fiction world, is filled with people saying do this, don't do this, etc., etc. And I mean, they're very adamant about that. And I'm reminded, I think it was Joseph Schumpeter, who was a businessman, who said, half of my money in advertising is wasted. I just don't know which half. Okay, kind of a funny, haha, but very profound. Well, the thing is, I was looking at all these rules of writing, and, I didn't know which half were bullshit, right? I knew half of them were, and I kind of looked at it with a big hairy eyeball. And what I began to realize is all these people say, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Especially when it comes to don't do this rules, like, oh, you should never hit with a closed fist. What? Because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, and, how do you hang on to this stuff? How do you clarify in your head? And I got to thinking about it, and I realized that with the writing world, all this advice of people saying, don't do this, I'd look up and there'd be an example of some good writer did exactly what they said, don't do that. So I finally came to the conclusion of they should be saying, don't do, fill in the blank, badly. Okay. Don't hit with a closed fist. No, don't hit badly. Right? Don't do, don't do this technique. No, don't do it badly. Right? And with that comes the understanding of when do you want to do it. Now, one of the rules that I was raised with, it really kind of made sense for protecting my hands, was soft to hard, hard to soft. So, yeah, you could hit something hard with a hard fist, and there's a chance you could hurt yourself. Or you could use a more open palm, softer, and hit something hard. You could hit very hard with the fist into a soft part of the guy's anatomy. And, I mean, that's a very good rule of thumb. Okay? It does work. And, I mean, lots of stuff. God, I love, doing fist work in up close in the guy's body. But I didn't risk breaking my hand. On the other hand, a lot of my slapping stuff, which I really, God, I love slaps. Because after you've made the hit, then you got the grabs. So you can really do all sorts of cool stuff with that. But, hard and fast, do not hit the guy in the face or the head with a closed fist. No, don't do it badly. Okay? You can, if you have the proper mechanics, all right, you can hit a very hard object without damaging herself. Now, it takes practice. It takes a lot of work, which we'll talk about in another video here. But, I mean, I used to punch steel beams. I used to punch trees, walls. But the thing was, I wasn't, like, loosey-goosey with my punches. I had the mechanics and the structure lined up so I could strike right and effectively hit hard surfaces. So, do you really want to say, don't do this, don't do that, when in fact it really boils down to take the time to learn how to do it correctly so you can do it, and then use it with discretion? Okay, because, yes, I love palm strikes, but end of the day, I can also punch somebody very, very well. And it wasn't a do this or don't do this situation. It was know when to do it, know how to do it correctly.